People keep saying to me that I should get my ancestry DNA tested. I can understand why. Because you see this guy on the screen that looks very biracial or mixed looking, but he speaks as though he's the blackest guy on earth. Angel got a dark skinned soul. People are always asking me what I am. All my life, they've always asked. People normally assume that I've got a black father and possibly a white mother. Or I get people that are like, well, half of his name is Spanish, so he must be Hispanic. Because Hispanic's a race, right? Nope. Sometimes people think I'm black and Arab, or whatever, really. Most people are pretty certain that I'm half black. They're just not sure what the other part is. I've always had to explain to people that I don't have any white parents. Both of my parents are actually black. My father is Jamaican of African descent, and my mother is Puerto Rican. Although she's also of African descent, she's actually biracial. Her father was a black Puerto Rican, or an Afro-Latino, and her mother was mixed, but more Taino and European, with probably a small percentage of African blood too, but I don't know. My mother is from a place called Loíza in Puerto Rico. It's known for being a predominantly black neighborhood. I think a lot of people are very miseducated on nationality, race, and culture. When I tell people my mother is Puerto Rican, they assume that somehow Puerto Rican is her race. But Puerto Rican is a nationality. Hispanic is her culture, and she would be identified as an Afro-Latina because she's of African descent, but she speaks a Latin-based language. Her race, though, she's black. She's an Afro-Latina. My mother looked like your run-of-the-mill mixed woman. Kind of like me, I guess, although more people say I look exactly like my dad. My dad is from Portmore, St. Catherine, in Jamaica. Both of his parents are black. My grandmother is a dark-skinned woman, and my grandfather is a light-skinned black man. My father is kind of like in between light skin and brown skin, I guess. People always used to ask my grandfather, my dad's dad, if he was mixed, and he always used to say it's because he has Chinese in him. Now, anyone that has Jamaican family, especially black Jamaican family, would know that black Jamaicans love to tell you that they've got some Chinese in them or Indian in them. So it was interesting to find out if we really did have Chinese in us. All my grandfather knew was that there was a white man somewhere down the line, and from there on, there was a whole bunch of light-skinned and mixed-looking people that just kept meeting up with each other and marrying and just creating more kind of light-skinned, mixed-looking people. So yes, technically my ethnicity is Jamaican and Puerto Rican, and no, I don't really speak any Spanish. People think because my last name is Ramirez Jordan that I speak Spanish. I was actually raised by my father and my father's side of the family. The big question: what do I identify myself as? Well, I acknowledge myself as being mixed of cultures. I have Caribbean, West Indian, and Hispanic culture. I'm obviously mixed due to nationalities, but so would somebody who's Nigerian and Ghanaian. Technically, they would be mixed in nationalities too. But I consider myself black. I consider myself as a mixed black guy because I've always seen myself and my siblings. I got a few brothers and sisters, all by the same parents. I see myself as black, but mixed with some white and Taino, just not really sure how much. But I'd like to say, based on me having 3 black grandparents, that I may be a quarter something else, but obviously the DNA test will tell me exactly what I am. Now, all of my siblings are different complexions. The boys are light-skinned, while the girls are relatively quite brown-skinned. Before I did this DNA test, I hoped I'd have very little European DNA. But I kind of knew I'd have quite a bit since I am light-skinned and I've got hazel and green eyes, which I actually get my eyes from my dad, and he's just black. And yes, light skin and hazel and green eyes and blue eyes are not exclusive to white people. We know this. But I guessed that I'd be around maybe 52 to 58% African, and the rest would be a mixture of Indian and white. I just didn't know what the exact percentages were. And plus, I was looking out for this Chinese blood. So I used Ancestry.com. I'll put the link to their website for anyone who's interested in my description. It's normally $99 plus shipping, but every now and again I've seen them offer discounts, so you might get it cheaper. It took about 3 days for the kit to arrive. You get this little tube that you have to fill up with your saliva, then you shake it and you have a sticker with a barcode that you have to put on the tube, because the lab won't know your name. They just have a specimen code. You then have to log into your account and activate that code to your name. I know a lot of people don't trust these sites because they think the results might be fake or just mass-produced, but I knew based on my own family history what I should get. So they don't know anything about my family or even what I look like. They don't even know my race. So they would be taking a huge guess in the dark. Imagine they brought me back my results and they were like 100% white, all from Spain. Obviously then I'd know there was something up. I knew there would be Spaniard blood, as the Spanish colonized Puerto Rico. I knew there would be British blood, as the British colonized Jamaica. My dad always said that his great-grandmother said that our ancestors came from the Ashanti tribe in Ghana, so I was expecting to see that. I sent off the test, and they say it's anything from about 4 to 6 weeks, but I got mine just a little over 4 weeks, so it wasn't that long. So my results. Is Angel a white boy? Is he mixed? Is he black? Is he native? How much Chinese do I have in me? So starting from the top to bottom, with the most, I am 62% African. So it's a little more than I predicted. So I'm definitely not biracial, because I'm not 50-50. I don't have a black parent and a white parent. But I knew this, because like I said, my mom is biracial herself. I'm 38% Ivory Coast Ghana, which matches with what my dad said. I'm 16% Southeastern Bantu, 6% Nigerian, and 2% Cameroon Congo. A lot of the enslaved that were sent to Puerto Rico and Jamaica actually did come from Western Africa. So these results are quite indicative of the slave trade into the Caribbean. I think most Jamaicans would have quite a bit of Ghanaian and Nigerian blood in them too. Now Europe. I'm 24% European, so I'm basically a quarter white. Yay.
He's white, I knew it.
Yep, a whole 24%. I'm practically Justin Bieber's cousin now. I'm 16% Iberian Peninsula, which is Portugal, Spain, you know, that kind of region. Now, I assume that would come from my mother's side of the family, since the Spaniards colonized Puerto Rico and filled the island with the enslaved Africans. Strangely enough, I thought I might have some North African blood too, because of the Moors. The Moors apparently invaded Spain, Portugal, Sicily, you know, those kind of places. And a lot of people from these regions, when they do their tests, they have a little North African blood in them too. I'm 8% British. And that was to be expected, since my dad's Jamaican, and before the Brits came, the island was originally called Xaymaca. So on the island, they had Arawak and Taino Indians. The Brits colonized the island, filled it with enslaved Africans. You notice there's becoming a bit of a trend here with these Europeans. Colonization, slavery, right. I am 14% Native American. I wish though they could tell me which tribes, but they just lump all natives into one category. I don't know if that's because they don't have enough genetic information or diversity in their DNA to tell them apart, but I'm 14%, which is like just over an eighth. A lot of so-called Hispanics who don't identify with their African ancestors, instead, they either identify as a mixed or whatever, a lot of them identify more with their Taino blood. Now, as far as I was aware, a lot of the natives were killed off due to sickness, murdered, mass genocide, or bred out because of the Europeans. I've never seen results on YouTube where a Puerto Rican or Dominican has a really large majority of native blood. I know it's different for, say, like Mexicans, but I'm talking about the Caribbean, because that's where my family are from. Now, for those of you that are really good at math, you now understand that that's 100%. So where's my Asian DNA, Granddad? Where? Hello? So those are my results. Long story short, I'm black, but I'm a quarter white with a dash of native blood. But like I said, my grandfather lied, or maybe he was misinformed. There was no Chinese blood in me whatsoever. So my slightly slanted eyes have nothing to do with the Chinese. He lied. I wonder if the Khoisan are classed as Bantu. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell me. So yeah, the link to Ancestry.com will be in the description. I think we as people of the African diaspora really need to do this to find out where we're from. Once you know where you're from and your past, you can know where you're going and mold your future accordingly. I think that once you know exactly where you're from and where your ancestors are from, you get a better sense of pride. So I'm proud to be 62% African, proud to be Ghanaian and from the Ashanti tribe. And I'm sure some people will say that 62% African isn't enough, but you can't please everyone. I bet even if my results were 80%, someone would still say, "You're not black enough." It's like if I walked on water, someone would still say, "It's not like he ran." Peace, love, and coconut oil.
Hey man, that's racist. Please remember that from now on, brand new never before seen videos, as well as live streams, will only be available on my website, ikyg.com, via a Patreon subscription. ikyg.com is a Black-owned, Black-ran platform, 100% free from censorship. It's the only place where we don't have to worry about what we say and expressing ourselves. Make sure you check out the description and the comment section for important links, as well as information in video form that shows you what benefits you get when you support the site and join my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe and be notified every time I upload a video. For exclusive content and perks, check out my Patreon. This is where we have private live streams, group chats, live Q&As, live phone calls, and open topics. This is a safe space where you can interact with other like-minded people, make friends, send each other direct private messages, and so much more without any trolls. And yes, you get to use GIFs and images in the live chats. So what are you waiting for? This is a completely independent website, free from censorship. If you'd like to make a donation towards the site so we can continue to put out the truth without fear of being silenced, then please hit that donation button. It's greatly appreciated. Check out the rest of the site for videos, private and public live streams, find out all the tea, and make sure to utilize the Black Money section of the website. Advertise your business absolutely free to people that look like you, free forever. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Angel_IKYG.